Kiwi scientists have completed a world first in a daring mission inside the crater of Mount Erebus in Antarctica.
Something seems to be going on this mysterious continent at the South Pole.
Something is happening in Antarctica, something so shocking that the US government has locked down entire regions of the frozen continent. It all started when a retired naval flight engineer known only as Brian revealed a terrifying discovery, a glowing, perfectly circular hole in the ice. His aircraft systems failed the moment he got too close, and when he returned to base, shadowy officials were waiting to silence him. But Brian couldn't forget what he saw, and neither should we. What secrets are buried beneath the ice, and why are world powers so desperate to keep them hidden? In January 2015, an investigative reporter named Linda Moulton Howe received an email that would change everything. The sender, a retired US naval flight engineer who asked to be referred to only as Brian, had a story so shocking, so unbelievable, that it threatened to unravel the very fabric of what we think we know about our world. What he revealed was a tale of mystery, secrecy, and a chilling discovery in the frozen wasteland of Antarctica, a discovery so profound that the US government immediately locked down the entire continent. This is the story of what Brian saw, why it was hidden, and why the world's most powerful nation is desperate to keep it buried. Antarctica, the coldest, driest, and most isolated continent on Earth, has long been a place of mystery. Covered in ice miles thick, it is a land of extremes, where temperatures can plummet to -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit and winds can reach speeds of over 200 miles per hour. It is a place where few humans venture, and even fewer return with answers. But beneath its icy surface lies a secret so profound that it could rewrite history, challenge our understanding of science, and perhaps even alter the course of humanity itself. For decades, whispers of strange occurrences in Antarctica have circulated among scientists, military personnel, and conspiracy theorists. Stories of unexplained phenomena, bizarre radio transmissions, and even sightings of unidentified objects have fueled speculation that something extraordinary lies hidden beneath the ice. And then, in the late 1980s, Brian saw it for himself. A team of scientists and engineers had landed in Antarctica to test a drone that would help experts forecast the impacts of climate change. The autonomous plane would map areas of the continent that had been out of bounds to researchers. It had been put to the test in extreme weather around the world's highest peaks. Its first experiment was to survey the mountains under an ice sheet to predict how quickly the ice could melt and feed into global sea level rise. Scientists want to understand Antarctica better, but they are limited by existing technology. Strong winds, below freezing temperatures, and sudden storms are common. These dangerous conditions, as well as dark winters and the need to transport pilots and large amounts of fuel, put limitations on the use of traditional manned aircraft. The British Antarctic Survey developed a new drone with UK company Wind Racers to be easily repaired if something went wrong. The drone was tested in Llanbedr Airfield, also called Snowdonia, in North Wales, a stand-in for the difficult weather and terrain of Antarctica. During a practice run in strong winds with rain lashing the airfield, engineer Rebecca Toomey explained that the drone could fly to remote areas without concerns for pilot safety. Brian spent years flying over Antarctica as a naval flight engineer, logging thousands of hours in the air. But one particular mission in the late 1980s would change his life forever. As his aircraft soared over the frozen landscape, he noticed something unusual: a massive, perfectly circular hole in the ice. The hole was enormous, at least a mile in diameter, and it glowed with an eerie blue light. It was as if something had carved it with incredible precision, revealing a cavernous space beneath the surface. But before Brian could get a closer look, something strange happened. Every system on the aircraft began to malfunction. The navigation systems went dead, the communication equipment scrambled, and the plane itself struggled to stay in the air. The crew had no choice but to pull away and head back to base. When they landed, they were met by men in dark suits, men who didn't ask questions but demanded answers. Every record of their flight was confiscated, and Brian was given a clear warning: never speak of what he saw. But Brian couldn't forget. Brian's discovery was just the beginning. Over the years, he began to piece together a chilling pattern of events. Scientists working in Antarctica were vanishing without a trace. Research stations were being abandoned overnight with no explanation. And then there were the radio transmissions deep beneath the ice. Strange signals were being picked up. Signals in unknown languages, broadcasting messages that no one could decipher. These transmissions often preceded the disappearances, as if they were a warning or perhaps a law. One of the most terrifying moments Brian experienced occurred while flying near a remote research site. His co-pilot spotted something unusual: a smooth, white, oval-shaped craft floating silently past their cockpit. It was huge, at least 100 feet across, and moved like nothing they had ever seen before. Brian did what any trained officer would do: he reported it. But that was a mistake. High-ranking officials arrived at his base and ordered him to retract his report. When he refused, the threats began. If he valued his career and his life, he would keep his mouth shut. Brian's most chilling discovery came when he picked up a faint distress signal coming from deep within an ice shelf. Following the signal, he and his crew came across another massive hole in the ice, this one glowing with an eerie blue light. It was perfectly round, as if something had carved it with incredible precision. But as they approached, every system on their aircraft went dead. No power, no controls, nothing. They were sitting ducks, stranded in the freezing air. Just when it seemed like they would be lost forever, the backup systems kicked in, allowing them to pull away. But before they left, Brian saw something that chilled him to his core: dark shapes moving inside the hole. Something, or someone, was down there. Brian sent out a coded message about the mysterious hole. Within hours, an entire military operation was deployed to the site. What they did there, no one knows. But Brian was taken in for questioning by a team that included members of a secretive government agency. Their message was clear: if he valued his life, he would forget everything he saw. But Brian couldn't forget. He began to dig deeper, uncovering a long history of strange occurrences in Antarctica: unusual deaths, missing researchers, and a trail of classified operations that went back decades. It became clear that something was buried beneath the ice, something that powerful forces were determined to keep hidden. Journalist Linda Moulton Howe wasn't about to let this story die. She gathered every shred of evidence she could, tracking down others who had witnessed strange events in Antarctica. Her research uncovered even more disturbing details: advanced aircraft seen moving in and out of secret bases, underwater objects traveling at impossible speeds, and satellite images of structures that shouldn't exist. It became clear that Antarctica wasn't just a frozen wasteland. It was a battleground for knowledge. Governments were fighting to keep something buried, and those who got too close paid the price. What really lies beneath the ice of Antarctica? Could there be an ancient civilization hidden away, capable of changing life as we know it? And if so, who really controls Antarctica? The truth is getting harder to hide.